The most anticipated tournament of the year has arrived, bringing with it the madness of March Madness. There's nothing quite like this time of year, when every possession can determine a team's fate. The atmosphere is electric, and fans know that surprises can happen at any moment. After all, who could forget UMBC's historic upset over Virginia in 2018? That's the magic of the tournament. Underdogs become legends, and favorites crumble under the weight of expectations. And, of course, everyone hopes to make that one perfect prediction that will bust their friends' brackets. Each game is a story in itself, a Hollywood script unfolding in real time. The drama of an underestimated team knocking out a powerhouse is what makes the tournament so special. But don't be fooled. It's not just luck. Coaches study their opponents relentlessly, adjust strategies, and exploit every weakness. Those who can read these signs may see upsets coming before they even happen. Want an example? A team that struggles with free throws under pressure might fall apart in the closing minutes, and we've seen it happen time and time again. The thrill also lies in the unpredictability. A team can dominate the regular season and stumble in the first round, while an overlooked squad can catch fire and make a Final Four run. That's exactly what happened with Loyola Chicago in 2018, when Sister Jean's energy seemed to push the team toward improbable victories. It teaches us a valuable lesson. Underestimating a team is an open invitation to be shocked. And when it comes to March Madness, the only certainty is that the madness never fails to deliver. And if you think you've seen it all, just wait until the ball is tipped. Year after year, unforgettable stories emerge and defy logic. Teams no one believed in go the distance, while giants fall to opponents who simply played with more heart. What's in store for us this time? Well, to answer that, we need to take a closer look at the numbers and metrics that define each matchup. In basketball, emotion and strategy go hand in hand, but the numbers never lie. Advanced statistics are the key to understanding what separates a championship team from one that makes an early exit. Turnover margin, shooting efficiency, and offensive rebounding percentage are powerful indicators. For example, a team that loses too many possessions, like Michigan, puts itself at risk against opponents who capitalize on every mistake. On the other hand, disciplined teams that take care of the ball can frustrate their rivals and dictate the pace of the game. And it's not just about mistakes. Shooting efficiency plays a crucial role, especially in elimination tournaments. Teams with a high three-point shooting percentage tend to be the most dangerous. Take Yale versus Texas A&M, for example. While the Aggies rely on offensive rebounds to score, Yale specializes in limiting second chance opportunities. That means if Yale controls the paint, Texas A&M could have a long night trying to hit contested shots. Small details like these can determine who survives and who heads home. Defense can't be overlooked either. A team that forces turnovers and protects the rim creates plenty of chances to score in transition. That's why Marquette has an edge over New Mexico. With players like Cam Jones and Stevie Mitchell, their aggressive defense fuels quick offensive breaks. Another key factor is interior defense. Michigan State, for instance, plays a physical, dominant game in the paint, which could make life difficult for Marquette. These strategic matchups turn every game into a real-life chess match. And if you think stats are just for analysts, think again. Even those filling out brackets can gain an edge. Spotting trends, studying numbers, and understanding how each team performs under pressure can mean the difference between a brilliant prediction and total disaster. But it's not just about raw numbers. You need to interpret the context and see how each team fits into the tournament. Speaking of which, a few teams are already shaping up to be potential Cinderella stories and surprise contenders in this year's March Madness. March Madness wouldn't be madness without some historic upsets. And this year, the ingredients for major surprises are already on the table. One of the most intriguing matchups is UC San Diego versus Michigan. The prediction: University of California San Diego has everything it takes to control the game. The reason is simple. Michigan turns the ball over nearly 20% of the time. A disaster waiting to happen. In a tournament where every possession is gold, that could be costly. And it's no exaggeration to say that if San Diego applies pressure, Michigan could find itself out before it even blinks. That said, I'm still putting my money on Michigan, thanks to their outstanding 7'0" center who moves like a guard. Averaging 13.1 points and 9.8 rebounds, he's a game changer. Trey Donaldson is another key player, making a huge impact with 11.6 points and 4.2 assists per game. Another game set for twists and turns is Yale versus Texas A&M. Yale doesn't have the most explosive offense, but they know how to defend like few others. Their strength, preventing offensive rebounds. Texas A&M, on the other hand, thrives on second chance points. But if Yale neutralizes that advantage, the Aggies will struggle to score. And if history has taught us anything, it's that teams relying solely on extra possessions are vulnerable. A strong performance in the paint could flip the game completely. However, the weight of tradition matters, and I'm sticking with Texas A&M. Speaking of electrifying matchups, Marquette versus New Mexico has all the makings of a thriller. Marquette comes in as the favorite, but New Mexico can't be overlooked. The key factor, Marquette's relentless defense and the talent of Cam Jones, who earned second-team All-American honors alongside Stevie Mitchell. But here's the catch. If the game comes down to the final minutes, New Mexico has the ability to shock everyone with unexpected plays. After all, a well-timed three-pointer can change the entire narrative, and that brings us to the big question: who really has the potential to make the Final Four? When it comes to the Final Four, it's not just about picking the strongest teams. March Madness has proven time and time again that the best roster doesn't always win. You need composure, strategy, and sometimes even a little luck. Among the top contenders, Duke stands out as the favorite, largely thanks to the phenomenon that is Cooper Flagg. Considered one of the biggest talents in recent college basketball history, Flagg combines size, skill, and high basketball IQ, making him a key piece in Duke's championship aspirations. If he enters the tournament locked in, he'll be a nightmare for any opponent. Beyond Duke, three other teams emerge as serious Final Four contenders: Houston, Florida, and Auburn. Auburn, with an average starting lineup age of 23, brings an absurd level of experience. That maturity has propelled them to the number one ranking in the NCAA, making them my pick to reach the Final Four. They'll face a wild semifinal battle against the Gators, who have been an absolute machine this year. Senior Walter Clayton Jr. has been outstanding, averaging 17.5 points per game, leading what might be the best Florida team since Billy Donovan's championship squads. With a roster full of veterans, Florida has the flexibility to go small or big depending on matchups. An invaluable asset at this stage of the season, Houston stumbled 3 times in November, twice in overtime, but has lost just once in the last 3 months. A tough early season schedule contributed to those early setbacks, but the Cougars have since established their dominance. They tore through the Big 12, a conference known for its depth and competitiveness, finishing with an impressive 19-1 record, with their only loss coming in overtime against Texas Tech. A key factor in Houston's rise has been point guard Milos Uzan, a transfer from Oklahoma who has taken command of the offense at an elite level. In the second half of the season, Uzan has been averaging over 14 points per game, while also taking care of the ball and knocking down 49% of his three-pointers. Alongside LJ Cryer and Emmanuel Sharp, he forms one of the best backcourts in the nation. And then there's Duke, with 3 starters projected to be lottery picks in the 2025 NBA draft. Their ceiling is sky high. With Cooper Flagg on the floor, anything is possible. But before we crown a champion, we need to look at the teams that could crash the party, because as always, there's an underdog lurking, ready to steal the spotlight. If there's one thing that makes March Madness a truly unique tournament, it's the element of surprise. Every year, an overlooked team comes out of nowhere and busts thousands of brackets. And for those who love betting on upsets, a few teams deserve special attention. VCU, for example, has a suffocating defense that can take down unsuspecting favorites. The leader of this defensive system is Zeb Jackson, a dynamic point guard who disrupts passing lanes and creates chaos on the court. If he can dictate the tempo, opponents will struggle to maintain control of the game. Another potential Cinderella story is High Point, and much of their upside comes from Jaden House. The shooting guard has elite scoring ability and can take over any game with his deadly shooting accuracy. If you check the stats, he's among the most efficient scorers in the tournament. March Madness is all about teams getting hot at the right time, and if House finds his rhythm, High Point could be a nightmare for higher seeds. Meanwhile, Troy is the kind of team that plays with fearlessness, no pressure, and nothing to lose. A dangerous combination in this tournament. The key to their aggressive play style is Duke Miles, an explosive point guard who loves attacking the rim and drawing fouls. He has a special talent for breaking down defenses and creating easy scoring opportunities for his teammates. If Miles can control the tempo and get others involved, Troy could become a serious threat. Underestimating these underdogs would be a mistake. How many times have we seen teams like these defy logic and go on deep runs? UMBC, Loyola Chicago, St. Peter's, they all left their mark on March Madness history. So who will be this year's Cinderella team that stuns runs the world. For those who love analyzing odds, probabilities, and sports betting, now is the perfect time to find value in the numbers. March Madness has that unique power. It makes people dream big, only to bring them crashing back to reality. Everyone has made a bold prediction at some point, believing in an improbable Cinderella run. The funny thing, some of those crazy predictions actually come true. Who would have thought St. Peter's would eliminate Kentucky in 2022? Or that UMBC would shock Virginia, becoming the first number 16 seed to take down a number 1? The line between madness and genius in this tournament is much thinner than it seems. At the end of the day, March Madness punishes too much logic. You can study every stat, watch every game, and still an unexpected team can wreck your bracket. And that's the beauty of the tournament. No one has absolute control over what will happen. Surprises are inevitable. But amid all the chaos, some predictions still hold up. And if there's one bet that feels solid in this year's tournament, it's the championship favorite. With so much uncertainty, Duke stands out as the strongest title contender. With a stacked roster led by the Phenom Cooper Flag, they have all the pieces to win it all. Flag's game is complete. Elite defense, a reliable shot, and exceptional court vision. He's leading the team in almost every major stat, proving his dominance. If Duke can stay consistent throughout the tournament, they'll be nearly impossible to stop. My final 4 picks? Duke versus Houston on one side, Florida versus Auburn on the other. But here's the biggest take. Whoever wins between Houston and Duke is the champion. This game is going to be epic, the kind of battle that will go down in tournament history. Are you ready for it? Now, all that's left is to watch the madness unfold. Predictions are in, brackets are set, and bets are placed. March Madness never fails to deliver, and the only certainty is that we're in for unforgettable moments on this wild ride.